The girl accidentally opened her boyfriend's diary. Even more shocking, the last page had her photo. It turns out he bought the barbershop to use her to lure out. The chilling content made Yanzi's scalp tingle, because the suspect mentioned had just come in a few days. No wonder he followed him immediately after he left that day. Though he put Yan, what she cared about most was whether Lao Yu had feelings for her. Do you like me? Yes. Then why have you never helped me? Seeing Lao Yu stammer and hesitate, Yanzi got her. In despair, she turned his head and saw that Lao Yu realized his plan was exposed. I can protect you. Even though Lao Yu was obsessed with the case, he was the head of the International Security Bureau. But this isn't a detective story. Lao Yu, a nobody obsessed with joining the system. Yanzi thought leaving the dance hall would let her start over with him. I'm already awake, but you're still dreaming. Lao Yu knew but he didn't want to wake up. After saying that, Yanzi sat on the bridge, then jumped off without warning. After her death, Lao Yu lost control. He dragged Song Jun to the crime scene. He ignored everything the man, because in his mind, he was already sure Song Jun was the killer. Seeing Song Jun fall silent, as music from an award ceremony echoed in his ears, Captain Zhang soon arrived, and after investigation, found Song Jun had nothing to do with the case. But Lao Yu suddenly broke down and burst into hopeless tears. A weather forecast played from the radio. Heavy snow was expected soon. Lao Yu was released after serving his sentence. Who was now suffering from? Before he lost his memory, Zhang had left Lao Yu a letter. Using the info, Lao Yu found a delivery truck driver. According to the driver, his vision was blocked by heavy rain, and he accidentally hit a Terrified, the driver froze. Looking in the rearview mirror, that person was Lao Yu, chasing from behind. Lao Yu hadn't noticed them. After Lao Yu left, the driver panicked and got out to check. They struggled to stand and try to run again, but in the very next second, police confirmed through blood traces that the one killed in the crash was the serial killer. Turns out Lao Yu was just one step away. You'd think this would be the end of the story. Lao Yu went to the old awards auditorium. 10 years later, the place was a complete. Only one old man was left guarding the gate, but the old man had no memory of him. Lao Yu reminded him he was a model worker in '97. He even received an award on that stage. Lao Yu froze in place upon hearing that. Emotionally, he was on. Not long after, the entire factory was demolished. Old co-workers gathered one last time to say goodbye to the place they dedicated their youth to. And just like that, an era of hard work and sweat came. Lao Yu boarded a long-distance bus, ready to leave this sorrowful place. It suddenly started. The blizzard that had been delayed for 10 years finally arrived. The director never clearly explained what the final twist was all about. Let's go back and review the story. It's not hard to realize that much of what happened, but he treated those fantasies as reality and ultimately crippled. Lao Yu had always worked in factory security. He wasn't well liked, but still wanted to live a mean. Many were facing layoffs, so they secretly sold off scrap. But Lao Yu was a stickler for rules, often ruining their schemes. So his co-workers sarcastically called him Detective Lao Yu. However, The first time he was invited to help at a crime scene, it was real, fulfilling his purpose in life, even changing his destiny. Him and his apprentice going to the scene and to the lit-up stadium, that was real. The film gave a clear hint at that. Wow, this Borsaman stuff is real. The dinner with coworkers, but he imagined it as a celebration banquet. But he was crushed by rejection from the system. So he fantasized about driving a Jeep to crack the case. If I dream big enough, I can drive one too. That idea came from the electric fishing gear the apprentice wore during a fishing trip. Otherwise, how could he escape responsibility for the character? Mianzi was imagined too, but who never gave him the time of day. So in his fantasy, he created, even having her quit the life of a sex, it was all to make up for his romantic regrets. Because all of this was part of his, so he imagined the scene where Yanzi discovers the truth. Even in his dream, Yanzi was warning him, otherwise, why was her death never followed up on? And after being laid off and kicked out of the factory, catching the killer became his only obsession. The only way to justify. So when he saw Song Jun acting suspicious in real life, he instantly believed he was the killer, which led to him beating a confession. Even after being released and learning the truth, to keep his psyche, he dove deeper into his fantasies. That's why we never saw what the letter actually said. Created just to mirror the plot he imagined 10 years ago. That was real. He wanted to relive his imaginary glory. But the old man snapped him. The demolition of the factory symbolized the collapse of his inner fantasy. He refused to accept. Thankfully, the snowfall predicted 10 years ago had at last come true. Lao Yu could now continue living leaving the city behind. That twisted memory was enough to carry him through his in his memories. He was a respected who sacrificed his best friend in the pursuit of justice, and even nearly caught a serial killer. Even though he spent 10 years in, he could still call it a life well lived. And so, let's hear his acceptance speech one more time. Let us remember the boy and live life with dazzling brilliance, with weathered passion. He welcomed the arrival of a new world. Sawasdi Ka. A flowing river. Within him.